What if you could ditch every single annual flower you buy each spring and still enjoy a garden that bursts with color, feeds wildlife, and saves you hundreds of dollars every year? What if a handful of hardy perennials could do all the work of dozens of seasonal plants, returning year after year without any replanting or repurchasing? Here are 13 perennial powerhouses that prove this idea works. Each one a living answer to that question, complete with deeper insights, practical tips, and richer examples to help you turn theory into a thriving, low-maintenance landscape. Number 13. Lavender, Lavandula angustifolia. Lavender is not just a fragrant herb, it's a low-maintenance, heat-tolerant perennial that thrives in dry, slightly alkaline soil with a pH of 6.5 to 7.5. Planted in full sun, at least 6 hours a day, on a well-draining site, and it will grow 12 to 24 inches tall, blooming from late May through July. A midsummer pruning, done immediately after the first flush, removes about 1/3 of the top growth and preserves the woody crown that protects the plant through winter freezes. Avoid pruning in fall. That cuts off the protective crown and leaves the plant vulnerable to hard freezes. Rich, compost-laden beds actually rot lavender from the inside out. It prefers the poorest, most neglected corner of your garden, where competition from faster-growing plants is minimal. Once established, lavender repels deer, rabbits, and many common garden pests, acting as a natural, living barrier for roses, vegetables, or any crop you fear will be nibbled overnight. In USDA zones 5 to 9, it performs reliably, and in hotter, more humid zones 8 to 9, choose heat-tolerant cultivars such as Phenomenal, Spanish, or the compact Hidcoat for the best results. Lavender also makes an excellent companion for Mediterranean-style herb gardens. Pair it with rosemary, sage, and thyme to create a drought-resistant herb wall that looks striking from the road and provides a continuous scent trail for pollinators. The flowers are a favorite of honeybees, and the nectar can be harvested for homemade lavender honey, a specialty product that fetches premium prices at farmers' markets. If you're interested in culinary uses, the buds can be dried and used in teas, desserts, or as a seasoning for roasted meats. Finally, lavender's essential oil, extracted by steam distillation, is a mainstay in aromatherapy for its calming properties. A few sprigs placed in a sunroom can reduce stress for both people and pets. Number 12. Purple coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. Echinacea purpurea, the classic purple coneflower, offers 4 months of striking rose-purple, white, or burnt orange blooms from July through October, and it tolerates everything from heavy clay to sandy soils with a pH of 6.0 to 7.0. What makes it uniquely valuable is its bronze seed cone that forms after bloom. These cones provide essential winter food for American goldfinches, Spinus tristis, throughout January and February, when other sources have vanished. To keep the cones intact for the birds, resist the urge to cut the plant back in fall. Leave every stem standing until at least late February. The coneflower also attracts monarch butterflies and tiger swallowtails during their late summer migration, making it a critical pollinator resource. Its nectar is high in sugar, supporting the energy needs of these insects as they travel long distances. The plant reaches 2 to 5 feet tall, thrives in full sun to light shade, and is hardy from USDA zones 3 to 9, so it fits virtually any American garden from northern Minnesota to the Gulf Coast. In addition to wildlife benefits, Echinacea is famed for its medicinal properties. The root contains alkamides that have been studied for immune-supporting effects. Many herbalists harvest the roots in autumn, dry them, and sell them as tincture or powdered supplement. Grow a dedicated medicinal row of coneflowers away from the main ornamental beds, and you'll have a sustainable source of raw material for home remedies. For gardeners seeking variety, Magnus offers taller stems and larger flowers, while White Sparkle provides a pure white form that blends beautifully with darker foliage plants like Russian sage. Plant coneflowers in groups of 3 or more for a massed effect, and intermix them with grasses such as Panicum virgatum to create a prairie-like meadow that requires minimal watering once established. Number 11. Daylily, Hemerocallis fulva. Daylilies are the ultimate set-and-forget perennials. A single clump expands by division every 2 to 3 years, eventually producing 8 to 12 new, fully functional plants that you can replant, give away, or even sell. Each flower lasts only 1 day, but each stem bears multiple buds that open sequentially, delivering weeks of continuous color in shades ranging from vibrant orange and yellow to deep burgundy, lavender, and cream. Daylilies grow 1 to 4 feet tall, prefer a pH of 6.0 to 6.5, and survive in USDA zones 3 to 10, the broadest hardiness range of any plant on this list. After the bloom period, leave the foliage untouched until after the first hard frost. The leaves feed the root system, ensuring a robust bloom the following year. Cutting foliage early steals energy that would otherwise be stored for next season's flowers. In addition to ornamental value, daylilies are edible. The buds of Stella d'Oro and Mango Tango can be sautéed like asparagus or added to stir-fries for a sweet, slightly tangy flavor. Daylilies also excel in challenging site conditions. They tolerate salt spray near coastal gardens, making them a good choice for seaside properties where many other perennials fail. Their robust rhizomes can survive brief periods of flooding, so they are ideal for low-lying areas that experience occasional ponding. If you want to extend the season further, plant early blooming cultivars such as Pardon Me, which opens in late May, alongside late blooming types like Stella d'Oro, which can persist into October. This staggered approach ensures a nearly uninterrupted display of color from spring through fall. For a more formal garden, arrange daylilies in a formal hedge with a spacing of 18 inches. The resulting living fence will be dense enough to block wind while still allowing light to reach the garden floor. Number 10. Black-Eyed Susan, Rudbeckia hirta. Rudbeckia hirta delivers bold golden yellow petals surrounding a deep chocolate brown center, maintaining its vivid hue even when temperatures soar above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It blooms from late June through October, tolerates poor, compacted, or clay soils, and thrives in full sun with at least 6 hours of exposure. In USDA zones 3 to 9, the plant's seed heads persist through winter, dropping seeds that germinate the following spring, effectively expanding your garden without any additional cost. In hotter southern zones, 8 to 9, provide afternoon shade relief to keep the plant's display vibrant. A light mulch of shredded bark can also keep the soil temperature down and retain moisture during scorching midsummer days. Avoid deadheading. The seed heads are next year's free plants, and removing them reduces future blooms. Beyond aesthetics, Black-Eyed Susan is a magnet for beneficial insects. Its nectar attracts native bees, while the seed heads are a favorite of seed-eating birds such as finches, sparrows, and even chickadees. In prairie restorations, Rudbeckia is often paired with grasses like little bluestem, Schizocerium scoparium, to create a layered habitat that supports both ground-nesting birds and pollinators. There are numerous cultivars to choose from. Indian Summer offers a compact habit and larger flowers, perfect for container gardening. Goldsturm is a dwarf form that works well in rock gardens or as a border plant. For a dramatic twist, mahogany displays dark burgundy petals that shift to bronze as the flower ages, providing a changing palette throughout the season. Number 9. Perennial Salvia, Salvia nemorosa. Salvia nemorosa produces deep violet-purple spikes that rise 18 to 24 inches tall in late spring. After the first flush, cut the plant back hard to 4 to 6 inches above ground. This aggressive pruning stimulates a second, equally vigorous bloom in midsummer and a third in early fall if you prune again. The plant thrives in USDA zones 4 to 8, prefers well-draining soil, and tolerates a pH of 5.5 to 7.0. Its aromatic foliage deters white-tailed deer, making it an excellent companion for vulnerable plants. In colder zones, mulch the crown with straw or shredded leaves before the first hard freeze to protect the root system. Salvia's spikes are a magnet for hummingbirds, especially the ruby-throated species that hover and feed on the tubular flowers. In addition, the plant provides a nectar source for butterflies such as the painted lady, Vanessa cardui, and the clouded sulfur, Coleus phyllatus. Salvia nemorosa also works well in mixed borders. Pair it with low-growing ornamental grasses like blue fescue, Festuca glauca, to create a textural contrast, or plant it alongside taller perennials such as bee balm, Monarda didyma, for a tiered effect that maximizes vertical space. If you're looking for color variations, Caradonna offers a deep indigo hue, while Snow Hill presents pure white spikes that brighten a shady border. For gardeners in warmer microclimates, the hybrid Mystic Purple tolerates higher humidity and still performs well in zones 7 to 9, where many salvia species tend to succumb to fungal issues. Number 8. Russian Sage, Salvia youngi. Salvia youngi, formerly Perovskia atroplicifolia, flourishes in lean, dry, unamended soils where most perennials struggle. When planted in rich, compost-laden beds, its stems become floppy and collapse by midsummer. In contrast, a neglected poor spot yields a sturdy 4-foot upright plant covered in silvery blue foliage and lavender blue flower spikes that bloom from July until the first hard frost. It tolerates a wide pH range, 6.0 to 8.0, and USDA zones 4 to 9, making it ideal for alkaline soils common in the Midwest and West. No fertilizer or compost is needed. Simply plant and walk away. In Zone 4, cut back the stems in late fall and apply a light mulch over the crown to protect the plant through winter. Russian Sage's airy architecture makes it a perfect backdrop for more delicate perennials. Plant it behind a row of lavender or catmint to create a layered, silvery garden that reflects light and adds visual depth. The plant's aromatic foliage is also a natural deterrent for pests. It repels aphids and spider mites, which can otherwise damage neighboring vegetables. In addition, the late-season flowers provide a nectar source for late-flying pollinators such as the great spangled fritillary, Spirea cybele, and the mason bee, Osmia lignaria. Cultivar blue spire is the most vigorous, producing taller, denser spikes, while filifolia stays more compact, ideal for smaller borders or container planting. For a dramatic color twist, the cultivar Mrs. Anderson displays a deeper violet hue that stands out against the typical sage silvery foliage. Number 7. Catmint, Nepentacross faceni. Catmint is a powerhouse pollinator magnet. Its soft lavender blue spikes, set on a mound of silver-green foliage, attract swarms of bees that not only pollinate the catmint itself, but also boost yields of nearby vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, and squash. The plant reaches 12 to 24 inches tall, thrives in full sun to light shade, and prefers well-draining soil with a pH of 6.0 to 8.0. After each bloom flush, cut the plant back hard to 4 inches above ground. This encourages a second full-strength bloom, and with a third cut, a third flush in early fall. In hot southern zones, 8 to 9, give catmint afternoon shade to prevent semi-dormancy during peak summer heat. Catmint's aromatic leaves are a favorite of domestic cats, who will often roll in the foliage, but the plant is also valued for its medicinal uses. A tea made from the leaves has mild sedative properties and has been traditionally employed to soothe nervous tension and digestive upset. In landscape design, catmint works beautifully as a ground cover under taller perennials such as bee balm or coreopsis. Its spreading habit can be controlled with a shallow root barrier if you prefer a more manicured look. For color variation, Six Hills Giant offers larger, deeper violet spikes, while Walker's Low stays low growth and is excellent for edging a pathway or a rock garden. The plant's tolerance of drought and its ability to thrive in poor soil make it an ideal candidate for xeriscape projects, where water conservation is a priority. Number 6. Baptisia, Baptisia australis. Baptisia, or false indigo, is a structural giant that rewards patience. The first 2 years, the plant appears modest, but by year 3, it erupts with towering indigo blue flower spikes in May to June, followed by striking charcoal black seed pods that persist through fall and winter, adding architectural interest. Its deep green foliage suppresses weeds year-round, and the plant forms a symbiotic relationship with nitrogen-fixing bacteria, enriching the surrounding soil for neighboring plants. It tolerates USDA zones 3 to 9, a pH of 5.5 to 7.0, and thrives in average to poor, well-draining soils. In colder zones, 3 to 4, no winter protection is needed once established. The plant's deep taproot stores enough energy to survive harsh freezes. Baptisia's early season flowers are a magnet for native bees. especially the solitary mining bee, Andrena species, which nests in the ground and benefits from the protein-rich pollen. The seed pods are also a favorite of goldfinches and mourning doves during winter months when other food is scarce. When used in a mixed border, Baptisia provides height and structure that can be softened by lower-growing perennials such as creeping phlox, Phlox subulata, or sedum autumn joy. Its nitrogen-fixing ability makes it an excellent companion for heavy feeders like tomatoes, peppers, or even young fruit trees, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. Popular cultivars include purple smoke, which offers a more compact habit and deeper purple flowers, and white dove, a pale blue form that blends well with silver foliage plants. For a dramatic effect, plant Baptisia in a staggered pattern across a meadow to create a river of indigo that ripples with wind, providing visual movement throughout the growing season. Number 5. Peony, Paeonia lactiflora. Peonies are the long-term investment of any garden. Mature plants, some planted before the Korean War, still bloom spectacularly each June, producing 6 to 8 inch double flowers in shades ranging from pure white to deep burgundy. The blossoms emit a sweet, warm fragrance that drifts across the garden on calm mornings. Peonies demand a permanent location. Moving them after establishment triggers years of dormancy as the plant redirects energy to root development. Plant in full sun, fertile, well-draining soil, pH 6.0 to 7.0, and choose early blooming cultivars in Zone 8, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, to ensure sufficient chill hours. Once settled, peonies improve with age, offering larger, more vibrant displays each decade. Peonies also serve an ecological role. Their large open petals provide landing platforms for butterflies, while the nectar attracts hoverflies that help control aphid populations. In addition, the seed heads that form after flowering are a winter food source for finches and juncos. If you're interested in culinary uses, fresh peony buds can be candied or used as a garnish for desserts, while the petals themselves can be infused into syrups for cocktails. The plant's root, known as peony root, is a staple in traditional Chinese medicine, where it is valued for its anti-inflammatory properties. For gardeners with limited space, dwarf cultivars such as Red Charm or Pink Delight grow to a compact 2 to 3 feet, making them suitable for container planting or small borders. To protect the crowns from winter rot in wetter climates, apply a 2-inch layer of mulch and avoid excessive watering in late summer. Number 4. Coreopsis, Coreopsis grandiflora. Coreopsis provides daisy-like flowers in golden yellow, warm orange, soft pink, and striking bicolors, forming tidy mounds 12 to 24 inches tall. It prefers poor to average soils. Rich soils can overwhelm the foliage, reducing flower density. The plant thrives in full sun, a pH of 5.5 to 7.0, and USDA zones 4 to 9. In coastal zones, 9, it blooms strongly in spring and fall with a brief slowdown in midsummer, then resurges in September. Regular deadheading from June through August forces the plant to produce new buds rather than seed, extending the bloom period to 4 solid months. Leaving some seed heads in late summer allows natural self-seeding, gradually expanding the planting without effort. Coreopsis is a magnet for many pollinators, especially native solitary bees such as the leafcutter bee, megachile species, and the long-tongued bee, Anthophora species. Its nectar also supports adult butterflies, including the eastern tiger swallowtail, Papilio glaucus. In a mixed border, Coreopsis pairs beautifully with ornamental grasses like blue fescue and with low-lying perennials such as heuchera, coral bells. The contrast between the silvery foliage of heuchera and the bright daisy-shaped blooms creates a garden that changes tone throughout the season. For a more dramatic effect, plant Zagreb, a cultivar with deep orange petals and a darker central cone, in a massed group to create a sunburst effect against a backdrop of darker foliage. In hotter interiors, a light mulch of pine needles helps retain soil moisture while preserving the plant's preference for well-drained conditions. Number 3. Bleeding heart, Lamprocapnos spectabilis. Bleeding heart, also known as Dicentra spectabilis, thrives in deep shade where few other perennials will flourish. Its delicate heart-shaped pink flowers, each with a tiny white inner petal, appear on arching stems 2 to 3 feet tall in April to May, delivering early-season color when most gardens are still barren. The plant prefers moist, humus-rich soil, pH 6.0 to 7.0, and tolerates USDA zones 3 to 9. In hotter zones, 6 to 9, the foliage fades by June, often leading gardeners to mistakenly discard the plant. In reality, the root system remains alive. Leaving the plant undisturbed allows it to return each spring. Pair it with hostas or ferns for summer interest, while the heart-shaped blooms recede. Bleeding heart also serves an important ecological niche. The nectar is accessible to short-tongued bees and, more importantly, to hoverflies that lay eggs on the leaves, providing a food source for their predatory larvae that control aphids. If you wish to extend the bloom period, plant a second variety, such as alba, pure white flowers, alongside the classic pink silver frost. The contrast creates a striking visual when both are in bloom simultaneously. For a woodland garden, place the plants under a canopy of deciduous trees. As the leaves drop in autumn, the bleeding heart's foliage will receive more light, prompting a secondary modest flush of buds. To protect against leaf spot disease, which can appear in humid climates, ensure good air circulation by spacing plants at least 12 inches apart and avoid overhead watering. Applying a thin layer of compost mulch in early spring helps retain moisture while suppressing fungal spores. Number 2. Garden phlox, Phlox paniculata. Garden phlox creates towering dome-shaped clusters of fragrant flowers in white, pink, lavender, magenta, red, or bicolor combinations, blooming from July through September. The scent, a blend of fresh laundry and summer evening, draws ruby-throated hummingbirds, Archilochus colubris, tiger swallowtails, Papilio glaucus, and sphinx moths, turning your garden into a wildlife hotspot. It prefers full sun to light shade, a pH of 6.0 to 7.0, and USDA zones 4 to 8. Older varieties may suffer powdery mildew in humid climates. Selecting mildew-resistant cultivars, such as David and White or Laura and Purple and White, mitigates this issue. Divide clumps every 3 to 4 years in early spring to maintain vigor and keep the fragrance strong. Phlox also acts as a color anchor in mixed borders. Its tall, dense stems provide a backdrop for lower perennials like Lobelia or Salvia mystic purple. Plant phlox in groups of at least 5 plants to create a massed effect that maximizes fragrance distribution, as the scent is more pronounced when many blooms release volatile oils simultaneously. For a garden that attracts butterflies throughout the season, interplant phlox with nectar-rich plants such as bee balm and coneflower. The overlapping bloom times create a continuous food source from early summer through late fall. In regions prone to excessive moisture, improve drainage by planting phlox on a slight mound or by incorporating sand and coarse organic matter into the planting hole. This reduces the likelihood of root rot, which can be a problem for mature plants in wet soils. Number 1. Bee balm, Monarda didyma. Bee balm crowns the list with its shaggy, crown-shaped flower heads in vivid scarlet, deep red, pink, lavender, or white. Native to eastern North America, it is co-evolved with native bees, bumblebees, ruby-throated hummingbirds, and monarch butterflies, providing an essential nectar source during July to August. The plant spreads via underground rhizomes, so give it space or install a root barrier to control its expansion. Divide every 2 to 3 years in early spring, using the divisions to extend your pollinator garden without additional cost. Choose mildew-resistant varieties like Jacob Klein, Scarlet, or Marshall's Delight, Raspberry Wine for humid regions. Bee balm prefers a soil pH of 6.0 to 7.0, full sun to partial shade, and consistent moisture throughout summer. It will visibly wilt if water is insufficient. Beyond its pollinator benefits, bee balm's foliage and flowers are culinary treasures. The leaves can be used fresh in salads or dried for tea that has a peppery, minty flavor. The blossoms are edible raw or can be frozen for use in desserts, ice cream, or as a garnish for cocktails. In addition to attracting beneficial insects, bee balm's aromatic oils repel certain pests, including mosquitoes and deer. Plant it along a garden border or near a patio to create a fragrant, pest-deterring living fence. For landscape designers, bee balm works well in cottage-style borders where its mounded habit provides a soft, rounded form. Pair it with low-growing ground covers, such as creeping thyme, Thymus serpillum, to fill in gaps and maintain a continuous carpet of scent. In colder zones, 4 to 5, mulch the base in late fall to protect the rhizomes from freeze-thaw cycles. So, what if you could transform your garden into a self-sustaining year-round display by planting just these 13 perennials? By swapping out costly annuals for these long-lived champions, you'll keep the colors vivid, the wildlife thriving, and your wallet happy without ever buying another flower seed again. If this answer sparked your imagination, give the video a like, share it with a friend who still frequents the garden center, and subscribe for more practical gardening insights that turn questions like this into reality.